All right, we're here tonight to learn fractions, continue learning about fractions, and we're going to talk about fractions on a number line, that's not new to you. We've talked about fractions on a number line. What is new to you is equivalent fractions on number lines. I've mentioned this in class before, but let's review it anyway. Let me pull up a whiteboard here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. We'll start with something that you already know. All right, and then we'll move into some new learning after that. So let's start with the stuff we do know. Let's start with a couple of shapes here. I'm going to take a couple of rectangles. So I've got one like that, and then we'll make another identical copy to it down here. So I've got two identical rectangles, and I'm going to split my first one into thirds, like so. 1/3 there. Those are not equal, so we'll move this one over. Move that, whoops. This isn't cooperating. Close enough. And then I'll do the same thing down here. But except this time I'm going to turn it into sixth. 1/3. 1/3. So now I have thirds again, and in order to make it six, I just need to draw a line across. Okay. So if I was to color in 1/3 on top, that's the same as coloring in 2/6. We covered this yesterday, right? 1/3 equals 2/6. 1/3 equals 2/6. You know that, okay? You know what the picture of that looks like. However, you haven't seen that on a number line yet. So let's show you what that looks like on a number line. We'll start a new page for this. Here we go, two identical number lines. Because we always have to start with the same size whole. Just like if you were talking about comparing two candy bars, they have to be the same size in order to compare the fractions. Your whole that you're dealing with on a number line has to be the same as well. I can't compare two number lines if I draw them different sizes. They're both going to go from 0 to 1. 0, 1, 0, 1. That's where we have to start. Notice I've lined them up vertically, right? So my zeros are lined up on top of each other. My ones are lined up on top of each other. That's really important, as you're going to see here moving forward. You have to be paying attention to those things. You have to be pretty exact when you're working with these in order to make sense of it. Oh, my pen's not cooperating anymore. There we go. We got 1/3 and 2/3. So we have 0/3 here. Oh no, that is not what we want to see now, is it? Let's undo that. My handwriting's messy, but not that messy. 0/3. Whoa. Honestly, guys, it's 11 o'clock at night, and I think my pen is just tired and ready to go to bed, just like me. 0/3, 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. Okay. Now I'm going to come down here. I'll put my thirds in. Oh, that one's in the wrong spot. And I'll split each of these sections in half again to get my sixths. So I have 0, 6th, 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6. We know 6/6 is equal to 1. We know 3/3 is equal to 1. So those things are all equal to each other. Now let's take a look and highlight some of this stuff. I can tell right now that 0/6 and 0/3 are equal to each other. They're equivalent fractions. So 0/3 equals 0/6. Both of those things equal 0. Right? They're equivalent fractions. They fall on the same spot on a number line. So if I had a different number line, if I had another number line over here, right, like this, Do that last one. Let's show you what this would look like on the same number line. We have 0, we have 1. I could label this 0/3. I could also label it 0/6. They both take up this exact spot right there. That's really messy handwriting, sorry guys. Let's go to my next one. I can go 1/6 doesn't have a corresponding thing on the thirds number line here, but 1/3 and 2/6 certainly do. Those are in the same spot. So over here, if I was to go to where 1/3 is, that spot right there is both 1/3 and 2/6. Both of those fractions go in that same exact spot. They take up the same spot on the number line. 3/6 doesn't have anything over here. It goes on this number line, but it doesn't have any matching thing on the thirds line. And then 2/3 and 4/6 both go here. So we would have 2/3 and 4/6 both take up the same spot on this number line right here. Okay. And then last but not least, we have 6/6 and 3/3, and those both. We'll cross out that one and we'll put it up here. Put a 0 up here. 3/3 and 6/6 are both equal to 1. Now these other ones, the ones I haven't circled, still go on this number line. Like 1/6 goes in there, and 2/6 goes in. 3/6 goes in here. Let's try that again. 3/6 goes in there, and 5/6 goes in here. So we have 0/3, 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. We have 0/6, 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6. They all go on that same number line. But the interesting part is that we have these pairs that occupy this same spot. Those are the equivalent fractions. Okay, those are the fractions that are equal to each other. That might be confusing. That might not make sense to you the first time. So let's do another example. See if we can make some sense of that again. Okay. So again, I'm going to start with something you already know. Start with something we've done before. Rectangle. We'll do a circle this time. Why not? So we got a circle there. We've got another circle here. Same size circles. We're going to split one of them into fourths. We're going to split one of them into eighths. So we split into fourths first, and then we draw diagonal lines to the center here. Moving on me. They make this look really easy on Khan Academy, and honestly, it's really not. They've had a lot more practice than me, though. I'll get better. So I have fourths and I have eighths. So we know that 1/4 is the same as 2/8. We can show that on a number line. Let's do that. Change my color to black again. So I have two number lines. And remember, super important, guys, they are A, the same exact size, and B, they're lined up exactly with each other over here on the left. If I started one of them here and one of them here, I did like this, that's super hard to compare. It's much easier if we're starting in the same point. Okay, so let's undo that last line and get rid of the one that's incorrect. I have my 0 and my 1 on both number lines. Let's get those labeled. Okay, this one I said was going to be fourths. So we divide our line into 4 parts. I have 0 fourths, 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths, and 4 fourths. And then down here, I know that I'm going to have fourths, and I'm going to divide the fourths in half again. So I have 0/8, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. So again, we can go through, we can find common things. Let's highlight some of those. We can say that 0 fourths and 0/8 are the same. We can say that 1 fourth and 2/8 are the same. 2 fourths and 4/8, those are both the same, and not only that, but they're both equal to 1/2. 3 fourths and 6/8 are the same, and 4 fourths and 8/8 are the same. These are all equivalent fractions. They're all equal to each other. Okay, so we could put them on the same number line, and they would occupy the same exact spot on that number line. I'm not going to go through all of those again. I'm going to show you just a couple of examples. So let me get a number line up for you. Actually do it right down here, make it the same size as the other ones. And actually, you know what? I guess we will go through all of them. Why not? It's good practice, right? If you want to get better, you got to practice. So we have 0 and 1. And because this is lined up, I'm only going to put the equivalent fractions on. I would say that this is both 0 fourths and, well, I might run out of room, 0/8. Those both go on that spot. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll make that 0/8 and I'll get rid of the one below. There we go. That's better. This is 2/8, but it's also 1 fourth. 2 fractions, 1 point on the number line. This right here is both 4/8 and 2 fourths. And as I said earlier, also 1/2. We could add that in there as well. Both take up that same spot on the number line. They are equivalent fractions. They occupy the same spot on a number line. Right here, this is both 6/8 and it is 3 fourths. I'm going to keep repeating myself. These are 2 identical fractions, or not identical, they're equivalent fractions. They occupy the same spot on a number line. And over here, we'll get rid of that 1. We'll move that out of the way. We all know that fractions with the same numerator and denominator are 1. So we can get rid of it. We have 8/8, which is equal to 4 fourths. Those, again, occupy the same spot on a number line. The spot is 1. We could come down here and we could put in the ones that aren't here. 1/8. I'll put them up here. Make it easier to see. We have 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, and we'll fill in our last one with 7/8. So now we took our independent number lines up here. They're separate from each other, and we combined them into 1. And we found that when we did that, some of the 8s are on their own, but some of them share a spot on a number line with the fourths. So those are the spots that are equivalent. Right? So 2/8 is the same as 1 fourth, 4/8 is the same as 2 fourths, 6/8 is the same as 3 fourths, and 8/8 is the same as 4 fourths. And I forgot this one, of course, 0/8 and 0 fourths are also the same. Those are both equal to 0. Okay, if you have any questions about this, let me know. We can go over it again in our Zoom chat. I can pull up a whiteboard and teach you guys in there. I can create another video for you to go over it a different way if that needs to happen. Or I can answer a question in Google Classroom or any other forum that you need it. You guys are working hard. I appreciate it. I'm hoping these videos are helping you out. Make sure you do watch the video first. By now it's over, so hopefully you've already watched it. before you've done Zern and before you've done your seesaw activity. That's really important, so that you go into those activities already sort of knowing what to expect. You've had the instruction, and then you can really go and do those activities with a full understanding of what it is we're covering today. So again, equivalent fractions on a number line means that two fractions can occupy the same exact spot on a line. That's what you need to know from today's lesson. All right, guys, keep working hard. I appreciate everything you're doing, and I'll talk to you later today.